Hello everyone, thank you for joining me today. Hope you're having a great Odoo experience. Today I want to talk to you about the emerging frontier of cryptocurrency payments integrated into Odoo, in particular focusing upon the point of sale application. There's a lot of solutions out there for the web portal and e-commerce, but we've really focused upon point of sale and some of the payment flows that are involved in that now in a retail or a restaurant. I like to have this kind of fun title here, from magic internet money to a revolutionary medium of exchange, because really I want to focus upon that idea of using this in transactions, not just as a store of value. And if you have any questions, scan this QR code and we'll take those at the end. So money, I don't know how much you think about it. I try not to think about money too much, but the bills keep coming, so I have to think about it sometimes. The functions of money, I think we want to talk a little bit about what the purpose money plays in our society and our interactions with each other, so then we can decide what would be a good form of money. So we have three primary functions of money that's kind of recognized by people that study it, starting with this idea of a store of value. So maybe you bake some bread, but you don't want to eat that bread. You want to store the value of that bread over time, but the bread's going to get moldy. So you try to trade that bread for something that's a little more durable, something that you can hold on to, and you're trying to store your value. From there, you have your money and you want to exchange it back for something to eat, maybe a bread, maybe some apples. And so you go to the market and you make this trade. And this is the medium of exchange. And then finally, once people widely recognize this form of money, they start to set a ratio of different goods and services in the market so that we can compare them and find out, how much apples to bread are we trying to trade, and can we abstract that into a price. And this is the unit of account. So these are the functions of money, but as we try to find something that can act as this universal value, we're looking for different properties. So I'm not going to go through these, but we'll just kind of list off some ones. Obviously, it's probably got to be durable, portable, divisible, fungible, scarce, and verifiable. We've had many different forms of money throughout time, and they've had different low, medium, or high, whether or not they could act, whether they had these properties or not. So in 2025, we've seen some pretty major changes in Bitcoin, some pretty widespread adoption, but primarily on this store of value. So we see it getting added to the balance sheet of some pretty large entities out there, from the US government to some of the major investment funds like BlackRock, and now public companies. So they have cash balances, and they're trying to preserve their purchasing power, their value over time, and a lot of them are coming to Bitcoin or maybe some other cryptocurrencies as a way to preserve that purchasing power against inflation. Michael Saylor is notable, CEO, founder of MicroStrategy, for kind of pioneering this, and he says, Bitcoin is an arc of encrypted energy to escape the currency flood. But my goal isn't to keep rich people rich. It's really to introduce this revolutionary money that I think is good for all people as they grapple with inflation and the ability to exchange with each other. So really, I'm focused upon this idea of medium of exchange. And we have seen some other news stories and developments in 2025. So starting with my adopted home city of Detroit, they did announce that they are taking Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies for taxes and fees. That was pretty exciting for me and my friends, though none of us really are going to pay our taxes in Bitcoin, but it's just kind of interesting to see the governments starting to acknowledge this. Then in the point of sale space, in the payment provider space, Square is a pretty major point of sale in the US across millions of businesses, founded by Jack Dorsey, who is all on board with this. and they have announced that Bitcoin payments will be available this year, and they're doing a number of tests right now. Finally, we have Steak and Shake, kind of a fast food restaurant. They are now accepting Bitcoin through their point of sales. They're accepting it through a kiosk mode, which is part of the inspiration of this talk here. So here we're looking at technology adoption curves from the 20th century. So we're looking at time on the X and on the Y, the percent of the population that's using this technology. Bitcoin is our most recent technology on this graph. We see that we're kind of at the start of that adoption curve. We had a lag, and now it's kind of taking off, though we have much further to go. And I think that that's because we have to work through these functions of money. So we work through the store of value, now we're working through the medium of exchange, and then the final boss level is going to be our unit of account. So it's just a little bit about our technology, what we've been building, how this works from the Bitcoin blockchain to your Odoo instance. So we have our Bitcoin blockchain. Basically, you send out transactions that you want to put through into this network. It's in this thing called the mempool. And eventually, if miners put together a combination of transactions, including yours, and they can get the rest of the blockchain to accept those, they will mint a block. So it's going to be a set of transactions that are locked to the ones before it and stored immutably through time. So essentially we're adding pages to a book where each new page refers to all the pages before, and you can't change any of the words once it's locked in the book. But as that is immutable, as there is a lot of competition to get your transactions into that block space, there are certain issues with that for it to be a day-to-day medium of exchange. So there's been these different technologies, different ways to try to be able to transact without necessarily having to be on the blockchain itself, and that's where these layer 2s come from. So in particular, we're focused upon this Lightning Network as a layer 2. These are basically setting up potential transactions, a series of them between people, and you're exchanging the signatures that could take place on the blockchain, but you're not committing them to the blockchain. So it allows you to go back and forth, saying potentially we will settle with each other, but not today. Let's keep trading back and forth. So we have two networks operating now. We've got the blockchain and we have the Lightning layer. And that means that ultimately though, for our Odoo instance, to talk to these things, we need something in the middle. Whether that's some software you run yourself or it's a service provider out there, we need something that can kind of talk to the blockchain, talk to the Lightning Network, and then talk to Odoo. So this could be your own personal node running your own software. I'm going to talk about that in a second. It could also be a payment provider. It could be someone like Coinbase, but we're going to see that there's some disadvantages to those. There's advantages and disadvantages to both approaches. So ultimately, once we get the information that we need about here's the transaction we want to pay, Odoo will be able to take that information and create a QR code so the customer can pay it. And then our modules will check with our payment provider and say, was that transaction actually paid? Okay, so in the middle there, that node, running that node, it's pretty complicated. It's kind of difficult, but that is kind of the situation that we're after. We want people to kind of control their own infrastructure, not be relying upon a payment provider that could ultimately freeze your account, take your coins, go bankrupt, something like that. We've primarily focused upon this BTCpay Server. It's a middleware on top of a node, and it offers a lot of functions for point of sales. That's what it was built for. But it doesn't have all of the features that Odoo has. But this BTCpay Server, it plugs into a lot of different nodes out there. So it's a pretty good middleware for our software to talk to, our Odoo modules, and then you could use any type of node software that you want. But again, this is very complicated. There's some maintenance costs, things go down, and I think it does have a place, but these Lightning service providers, they're going to make it much easier to onboard. So these essentially run something like a BTCpay server. They provide the API endpoints, but we're trying to look at them differently than a payment provider. Ideally, there's a way that you control your own keys, so you maintain that sovereignty, but you reduce the infrastructure. So we have been building for one of these LSPs called Breeze. I think I'll have the module working completely this week, but if you want to follow that, you can check out the GitHub. So since Odoo 17, Odoo's introduced a lot of different payment flows for restaurants. You have your traditional payment flow where the cashier or waiter lets you know, here's what you owe, and they collect your card or cash. But this idea of self-ordering is becoming a lot more prevalent. So being able to scan a QR code on the table, place your order, maybe pay for it. Not having to rely upon the wait staff to do all of these operations. And now we even have these kiosks. So Odoo has introduced this kiosk function. So the business owner is going to provide usually a touch screen out when you walk into the restaurant. You can place your order on that and then pay as well. So they've done some integrations for the card terminals, but if you follow their GitHub pages, this online payment in the kiosk mode, they're kind of working on it, but I'll show you a little bit about how that can currently work with our Bitcoin payments. So these point of sale payments with the QR code on the receipt, it's going to use a different set of modules versus the online payments through this self-order mode. So I'm going to take you through these and then give you a quick demo on what that would look like. But for our traditional pay by receipt, the wait staff is going to take the order. They're going to find out from the customer they want to pay by crypto Bitcoin, and they're going to print a receipt with the QR code, and then they're going to validate that payment. Versus pay at table, we're going to use the eCommerce payment modules and set them up as online payments in the point of sale. So in this workflow, the customer is going to scan the QR code at the table, they're going to place their order, and ultimately they're going to pay for it with their own device with a mobile wallet. And then in our kiosk mode, we're going to use the same modules, but instead of scanning the QR code at the table, they're going to order at the restaurant kiosk. All right, so live demos, my heart's racing, and wish me luck. So we're going to just select our items, and we're going to go to our payment. So in this case, we're going to create an invoice directly to pay with Bitcoin. We have some options to also have a QR code that goes to a website to do it, but I showed that last year, and this year I want to show the QR code that goes direct to the crypto payment. So if you were to scan this, it's just going to be a whole bunch of series of digits. It's going to kind of not be very legible to us, but really what it's saying is it should say at the front Lightning : so that's kind of telling the device find your application that deals with Lightning payments. That's your URI. Then it's going to it's going to tell it the network. In this case, we are on testnet, so it's going to say like LNTC or something like that. Then it's going to say an amount. So that's the amount of Satoshis, the amount of the crypto itself. And then finally, there's going to be that long string of digits. That's going to be the invoice itself, the destination for the payment. So you're basically, a mobile wallet reads this. There's no website. All right, so now we're in our our self-order at table. So there would be that QR code. You probably saw them out on the tables out there. You would scan it, and it would take you to this site, so you're on your own device. So we're going to go to our order. We're going to place an order. Okay, and this restaurant, they only take Bitcoin payments apparently. So this is going to be their only option. So that's already selected, but you could have your cards, you could have some other online payment providers, and the customer can select what they want to use. So we're going to just go to pay here. All right, so now that's going to just take us back to basically the same QR code that you would see on that receipt, but here it's on the customer's device. And we don't need the URI at the front. We can just see that we're on the testnet, the amount of Satoshis, the invoice. Your mobile wallet would recognize that information, and you would approve the payment and validate it, and then that's going to show up for the restaurant on their preparation display on their kitchen printer. All right, and now this is representing the kiosk mode. This is a point of sale in the kiosk mode. So this would be on the restaurant's own device, out there accessible for the customers. So they would just go to order now. It's going to seem pretty similar, the same types of screens as before. We're going to get some sushi here, and then we're going to go to order, and we're going to pay. And now here, the restaurant, they could have their card terminal out there, and if the customer wants to pay with their card terminal, they would select that, it would pop up, they scan their card. But maybe you have a couple customers, they do want to pay with crypto or an online payment, so we can select that. And now this QR code is going to take you to the Odoo payment page. This is something that I'm trying to make it so it'll open that page directly, but right now the customer is going to be taken to that same BTCpay Server page, and then they would have to switch to the mobile wallet and complete the transaction that way. Okay, so I hope you kind of have an idea that we can use this BTCpay Server payment module in many different ways for the Odoo point of sale, whether that's through a traditional waitstaff collecting the payment or self-ordering and kiosk mode. I want to say it's easy, but it does take a little bit of setup, but I'm happy to work with anyone that wants to do it. We linked to our GitHubs, so you're welcome to get those modules, set them up, make them work for your situation. Ultimately, we're going for something that's open source and sovereign. These cryptocurrencies, almost all of that software is open source. That's kind of just the de facto starting situation, but they're not necessarily sovereign. A lot of times you are relying upon a third party to host you, to hold on to the keys for some amount of time, but we are after solutions that keep the merchant in control of their money all throughout that payment flow, maintaining that business sovereignty. And the big question is, can it be easy? I hope so. We're going to keep working on it. We're going to keep making our tutorials, our demos, making it so that these things are plug and play, as easy as Odoo is for any of us. And I think, yes, we can have both. We just need to work together, share our information, and continue to build. So that concludes the talk. I'm happy to take any questions. If anyone's here in the room or watching online and they want to discuss, use this lower QR code. It'll just bring you to a form to answer some basic questions so we know where we're starting at with our conversation. I want to thank all of my mentors along the way. A lot of people invested in me, gave me opportunities to work on this. It's an amazing opportunity to be here presenting this technology to you. And I hope that year by year we continue to build and make it easier. So thank you, and looking forward to talking with you.
T'as déjà fait oui.
Thank you for your presentation. The first question we have is, can the user set a price in Satoshis, or is it always live conversation from fiat? What's the price provided?
Okay, so the merchant's going to set the conversion rate. I think that was a downfall of maybe some of the merchants were doing it before. The user would kind of decide how much they're going to pay. That doesn't work. You know, they might underpay you. So right now, the service provider, which the merchant makes the settings, they set the conversion rate. BTCpay Server gives you a number of options to set that rate. It depends upon the exchange that they're going to reference to do that. But yeah, that's important that the merchant controls that. In terms of the on-chain fees, ultimately we're really trying to use Lightning for those instant payments. So the fees themselves should be pretty low. It's not really something that's open, needs to be negotiated. But in terms of if they are paying on-chain, yeah, the fee that the customer selects to process the payment would impact, depending how quickly that gets processed. There are speed policy settings in BTCpay Server to tell you how many confirmations you want. But ultimately, we're really just trying to push that it's on Lightning, low fees, instant, but that comes with the technical complexity. But it's a good question.
The next one. How do one get the Bitcoin or the Satoshi exchange rate?
Say that one more time.
How can one get the Bitcoin or Satoshi exchange rate?
If you're talking about in the module itself, it tells you on that receipt that we popped up. Let's see if it comes up for us. So we do see the conversion rate down here. That's what the BTCpay Server is reading as the conversion rate from Kraken, the exchange.
The next one. Transaction time and cost for check less than $100 may be large, or Lightning Network can take care of that.
The transaction costs, yeah, on Lightning, they're pennies, fractions of pennies. But yeah, this if you were paying an on-chain fee, that would be prohibitive to like low volume transactions. Usually it would be like $1, several dollars worth. It would usually be like somewhere from 10 cents to $1 for an on-chain transaction.
The next one is it compatible with CE version or EE only?
It's compatible with both the community and enterprise. I'm running community on my demos.
The last one is, what are shitcoins?
Anything that's not Bitcoin.
That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you all.